So I was just doing the recording for chapter 5 in the mental universe, and this particular one here needs more discussion. It may help you to get the proper idea if you apply the law of correspondence to yourself and your own mind. You know that the part of you which you call I, in a sense, stands apart and witnesses the creation of mental images in your own mind. That's a really good way to put it. The part of your mind in which the mental generation is accomplished may be called the me, in distinction from the I, which stands apart, witnesses, and examines the thoughts, ideas, and images of the me, as above, so below. Remember, and the phenomena of one plane may be employed to solve the riddles of higher or lower planes. Now, this is one of those ones that just gets completely glossed over in conversations that I've had with other people about the Kybalion and things like this, but this is one that I keep getting pulled up on again and again, and one that I think that a lot of people need to pay attention to right now. Like, for instance, we're trying to figure out how to collapse the ego. Well, maybe it might be a better opportunity to unify the ego, rather than trying to decide which part of the universe is better, the masculine or the feminine, the ego or the non-ego. Maybe it might be better to unify both of them and allow the harmony of the universe to echo and reverberate in a fractalized pattern with the template of the all, in that sense. Now, this is also bumping up and jumping in my mind because I'm seeing and tasting the beginning in the psychological world as to how the as above, so below might be employed internally in here for us to be able to navigate the I-me puzzle. For instance, you're going through a lot of pain at the moment and you're suffering and you've got a lot of problems and you'll be sitting there saying I. You won't say me, right? You'll be saying I. But that's because of the pain. You're standing separate in your mind. There's a schism happening in your mind that is separating you from the experience of pain. That is very instinctual in our capacity. We ultimately just, especially in our modern society, rail against any uncomfortable feeling so much point that if it gets to the point of pain, we're basically, as soon as we can, taking something to eliminate it. Whether that be a form of bad chemicals or whether that be native and natural medicines that can help aid and sublime these pressures and these other stresses that can cause these issues. But for instance, what if you are having an issue with grief, right? And then all of a sudden you dropped from the I back into the me, and then you remembered that you've got nothing to grieve because it's all here where you are. But you couldn't see that while you're in the I, because the I was standing out here separate from the entire experience going, I'm in too much pain. I can't integrate at the moment. Put the pain and the noise aside, reintegrate, and then the pain literally disappears and dissolves out of non-existence. It never actually was in the first place. The chapter before, the paragraph before that. The all is one. The two aspects are merely aspects of manifestation. The teaching is that the masculine principle manifested by the all stands in a way apart from the actual mental creation of the universe. Now, this stems hardcore into cosmological approaches to the universe. For instance, what was it that in the Christian context of mythology happened? It was Satan that stepped away from the Lord. It was light that stepped away from the void, or sound that moved from the space of creation. There was something that moved away from the point of creation to begin with. And you'll find this throughout many different tales of creation amongst different cultures, but you will usually find in the first parts of all creational myths some form of masculine principle that starts it all in some form or way or shape or disguise as it moving away from or moving out from home, or it evolving and trying to go out on its own, start its own thing, or in the case of your more negative religious examples like Christianity, repulses against the word of God, tries to show that where it comes from is absolutely crap and it can do better by itself in other places, inevitably sustaining itself on this partial creation, trying to prove itself right until finally it unfolds back into the womb of God, we'll say. The teaching is that the masculine principle manifested by the all stands in a way apart from the actual mental creation from the universe, of the universe. It projects its will towards the feminine principle, which may be called nature, whereupon the latter begins the actual work of the evolution of the universe from simple centers of activity onto man and then on and on higher still. So the first aspects of the universe were created and then they became what we have as their generational offspring, and now we call them suns and stars. Supermassive black holes, galaxy creational black holes, mother black holes. Black holes are now being dated and shown to be a whole bunch more foundational to the creation of the universe as opposed to an accidental byproduct of the universe, such as the way in which our hubrisness usually goes. Oh, it looks like the universe made an accident over here. Oh no, wait, no, that was our mathematical equations. It's totally normal, as it turns out. Black holes are totally normal. So from this standpoint, then, we have literally light, photonic light, separating itself from the rest of the universe. Light, one part of the spectrum, right? Electricity is touted as a very masculine trait, to be forward directing, to be very specific. It's very jagged and straight at the same time. It is not at all patient nor curly, and very not creative in a lot of different ways. Magnetism is a lot more associated with the feminine, which is a lot more enthralling, drawing in, creating, amalgamating, returning back to the cycle of the way things are meant to be, right? You've got all these basic principles here that map out along with this until you get to that line there, which literally says, projects its will towards the feminine principle. I'm a star, and I'm going, pew, 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 and I'm looking at the earth, and I'm shooting my light at it, my seed, at the planet. And the planet, as a seed capturing device, an egg, is capturing those seeds and causing them to sprout out into trees around the globe, right? Or biological life, as the case may be. On all scales. This is on our scale. We see this on our scale. We see life. But imagine if you were to shrink down 100 times your size. You would see things that you can't even comprehend right now. And for those of you out there who are Marvel Universe familiar, I saw the Ant-Man and how he goes down into the quantum world and stuff like that. Yeah, no. Like that's their creation is trying to show you that you can't even imagine what is going on, but they're using imagination creations to show you that you can't imagine what creation is doing. These seeds get planted within the eggs of the feminine principle, which then begin the work of evolution for the universe, or of the universe, from simple centers of activity, i.e. cells, single-celled organisms, eukaryotes, all of them, right up through the entire spectrum until you get multiple of these guys coming together for amoebas and everything else, and then you get right through until onto man from centers of activity, and then on and on, not just one on and on, higher still. All according to well-established and firmly enforced laws of nature. If you prefer the old figures of thought, you may think of the masculine principle as God the Father, and of the feminine principle as nature, the universal mother. In the sense of the Christian analogy that I just gave you before, you might think of the eternal Father as creation, and then the eternal mother, that which is created out from. You might then consider the sun and light, electrical energy, to be masculine, and then the darkness or void of space, black holes, being the center of feminine creation, where everything is drawn into the void, right? Where it all takes place in. But you have, if you know your yin and yang, you know that there's an infinite amount of yin and yangs that yin yang each other's yin and yang of the yang and yin of yin and yangs. So you can't even look at the sun and say, well, that's a masculine creation, because in actuality, you can look at all parts of creation and see both in equal amount. And if you can't, it's usually due to some lens that you're holding up to your eyes, whether you're aware of that or not. Eyes, metaphor for perception, right? Including mental perceptions, mental transmutations. And this, of course, takes place right within the mental universe chapter, tying in with mental transmutation, okay? So first, in order to be able to deal with what you need to deal with, you need to first understand what it is that we're dealing with. What we understand is that we don't understand. What we do is we grok, is the best word that I've come across. We grok the universe. We get it. We get it in a way that is all of us. It's not something that comes from our mind. It's not something that comes from the unity of our mind and our heart, because it's also something that's held within your pinky toe. It's also something that's held within all of your house around you and the birds and the trees all around you, right? It's the all. These are all together as one. These are all you. You are a point of reference for these other things. In that same sense, where it says here, you know, the part of you which you call I, in a sense, stands apart and witnesses the mental creation images in your mind. Your sight is all in your mind. You think you're looking at a tree out there, it's actually in your mind. And you're sitting there going, oh, I am me and I'm separate from that, right? But that's actually me too. That's not I. So you can't go, close your eyes here and then open your eyes in the tree and go, oh, I'm a tree. Now I can't move. Shit. Because that's then I, not me. But me as an expanded concept, I deal with me in all areas of my life. I'm sitting on me right now, sitting in me right now. I'm talking to me right now. I'm talking to me, through me, on me, with me, about me, and through me. But I am sitting right here. The separation inherent within these two concepts, the I and the me, adds a whole new level of ability to be able to flip and play with these things in terms of your gender creation, creational gender, your generational ability to manifest material reality in the ways in which align with your needs, as opposed to what needs are being dictated to you from other people due to your lack of awareness on how to be able to navigate and circumvent other people's needs for your own. What a time to be alive, hey? Amazing!